All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to break down how to connect Adobe Experience Platform with a really powerful AI technique called Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG for short. Why? Well, the goal is to create emails that are so personalized, they feel like they were written just for you. You know, for years, marketing has been all about segments and lists. But the game is really changing. So let's start with a big idea. What if every single email you sent could be a unique, one-to-one conversation? Perfectly timed, perfectly relevant. That's the incredible promise we're going to dig into today. And this is where you really see the difference. We're talking about the shift from a generic email blast, the kind that's super easy to ignore, to a dynamic message that's literally crafted in the moment. It uses a customer's latest interactions to deliver something that feels less like marketing and a lot more like a genuinely helpful conversation. Now, to make this happen, you've got two key players. First up is Adobe Experience Platform, or AEP. The best way to think of it is as the brain. It holds this rich, real-time profile of your customer. And then you have RAG, which is your expert copywriter, an AI that uses all that profile data to craft the perfect message. And, this is key, it only pulls from your approved brand and product knowledge base. Okay, so that's the big idea, but how do you actually connect the brain to the copywriter? The architecture might sound a little complex, but it really just boils down to three clean paths. And depending on your current tech stack and what you're trying to achieve, one of these is going to be the right fit for you. Let's start with our first path, which we're calling the Marketo upgrade. This one is designed for teams who already love their existing Marketo Engage setup and just want to give it a serious intelligence boost. So who is this for? Well, this is your go-to if you're not looking to rip and replace your current system. You get to keep your Marketo programs, your reporting, your templates, all that operational muscle you've already built, and you simply inject this powerful new layer of AEP-driven personalization right on top of it. So here's how it works, and it's actually a pretty clever four-step flow. First, AEP does its thing, building the audience and sending it over to Marketo. Then, right at the moment of send, a Marketo webhook calls your RVAG service. That service instantly grabs the latest AEP profile data, generates the unique content, and shoots it right back to Marketo to inject into the email just before it goes out the door. It's all seamless. And the benefits here, they're huge. You get a massive personalization upgrade with very little disruption to your team's day-to-day. You're tapping into AEP's full unified profile while also centralizing your content governance to keep everything on brand and totally safe. Okay, let's move on to our second option, the AJO native. Now, this path is for teams who are already working inside Adobe Journey Optimizer, or AJO, which is Adobe's cross-channel campaign management tool. You're going to want to choose this path if you're already orchestrating your customer journeys in AJO, or, and this is a big one, if you want to use its really powerful built-in offer decisioning engine. This approach is all about working natively right inside the Adobe ecosystem. So in this setup, AJO's decision management is really the star of the show. It handles all the logic of who gets what offer. But, and this is where it gets cool, for those moments that require true one-to-one messaging, it just treats your RAG service as a custom offer source, calling on it to generate a completely unique message for that specific person. The big wins here are the native power of AJO's decisioning. You get built-in audit trails, eligibility rules, the whole shebang. Plus, you get incredible flexibility with how you deliver, with options for batch, edge, or real-time sends, all depending on your campaign needs. All right, on to our third and final path, and this one is all about one thing, massive scale. This is the pattern you pick when you need to send a huge volume of emails with maximum efficiency. Look, if you're dealing with audiences in the millions and every single millisecond counts, this is for you. If low latency and a predictable cost are your absolute top priorities for a huge campaign, this pre-computation model is your solution. The real magic trick here is that all the heavy lifting happens before you send. You use a batch process to pre-generate all the personalized content for your entire audience at once. These results get stored in AEP, so at send time, Marketo or AJO just has to pull the ready-to-go content. No real-time delays, no bottlenecks. The payoff here is all about speed and predictability. You get almost zero latency at send time and a super clear cost model because you're doing one big processing job instead of millions of little ones. This makes it the perfect go-to choice for your highest volume campaigns. So, okay, those are the three main ways to build this. But no matter which path you take, the RAG service itself is the engine. So what does it actually need to do to make all this magic happen? When you boil it all down, your RAG service is basically an input-output machine. It takes in key data from AEP, things like profile traits and the campaign goal, and on the other side, it spits out everything you need for the email. The subject line, the pre-header, the hero copy, all neatly packaged up and ready to use. But, and this is so important, you can't just let the AI run wild. To do this safely and effectively, you need to have clear guardrails in place. Always respect consent and only pass the data you absolutely need. Use standardized schemas so everything is auditable. And remember the roles. AEP decides what offer to make, while RAG decides how to phrase it. And hey, don't think this is some far-off futuristic concept. You can build a minimum viable product, an MVP, of this system in just 2 to 6 weeks. The technology is here, it's ready, and you can implement it right now. All right, we've covered a lot of ground. We've seen the 3 paths and the core RAG playbook. Now let's bring it all together with a really simple guide to help you choose the right path for your organization. So here's the final decision guide, broken down nice and simple. If you want to upgrade your existing Marketo setup with minimal disruption, you're going to choose path 1. If you want to leverage native Adobe decisioning right inside AGO, go with path 2. And for those massive sends where speed is absolutely critical, path 3 is your answer. So the bottom line is this. Your data in AEP is ready. The AI technology is here, and your customers are waiting for more relevant, more helpful communication. The only question left is, which path will you choose to build the future of your email program?